Sorry, technical difficulties. We're live now. Okay, it is 4:08. Please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody, for your patience. We figured out the technology. Okay. The first thing we have is September 27th council meeting minutes. I did these. So, Martin, did you get the ones I sent you? Did you get it through email?
No, I saw this first time, but I didn't have a problem.
Oh, okay. I tried to email it to you.
Oh, no, I didn't get anything.
Okay. So, if everybody's looked at it, do you have a motion to accept this?
I'm gonna accept it.
Second. Okay. All in favor? Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Okay. Fire department, Kurt, do you have a report for us?
I got a report. Might have reported on it last month, but fire pits and campfires are now okay to have. Still no ground fires, which is basically your yard debris, your pine needles and stuff like that. Burning barrels are okay with the proper screen and a burn permit. The big structure truck, we've been holding off sending it in for the pump to get rebuilt. Talked with the rebuilder today. He can do that about the 1st of November, and that's about when we're, in a safe fire season because it's starting to get a lot wetter than it is. So my question is, do we want to take it to him or have him pick it up? You know what the fee was last time for him to come get it?
Wasn't the fee pretty high for him?
$500, I think.
And time-wise, you guys were able to take it? And
I'm sure I could find somebody to get it there and get a ride back.
it would be less than $500 for us to take it and bring it back?
With fuel prices, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, the thing doesn't get very good mileage.
Do we know, is the price still gonna be the same, Kurt, or is it gone up?
He's already got the parts purchased.
Okay.
So that quote that he gave us a year ago, it should be real close to that, I'm thinking. With the other truck, he brought it up, because I don't tell him what to do.
Mm-hmm.
NFPA regulates us, and so he had to fix some lights and horns and blinkers, and so that's if he's just doing the pump, which that's what we're sending it to him for now, then that quote should be just within a couple $100, plus or minus.
But we're going to specify that we're taking it there for him to just do the
Yeah,
pump.
making sure to do that.
Can't
Yes,
just
right.
fixing whatever he feels needs to be fixed.
Correct. We started a list of hazard properties, and that's just the ones that we basically go, okay, that's so-and-so's with an address. All over town, there's bare land, places with, hazards. I have no way to know who the property owner even is. I would like to see the city send a letter out to every property owner, and if they're in compliance, it's not a worry to them at all. But then, properties right up here on the corner or something. Since I've been here, I've never seen anything there before or have any idea who it belongs to. So if every property owner gets a list or gets the letter, then everybody knows, and if you're in compliance, you have no worries.
And what is this letter going to say?
Well, we need to figure out basically, right now, if there was something coming through town as dry as it is, and it's just grass, but, 8-inch grass will produce a 5-foot plane. So it's, but they gotta maintain their properties a little better. The vacant properties, whether it be bare land or, there's places in town that haven't had occupants for several years.
So would it be more listed under fire hazard, not a health hazard?
Right. I think at this point, yes, I'm more concerned about the fire hazard of them for sure. There is places that, yes, health hazards are a concern too. So it should be something that I'd like to put together with my guys, just say, okay, what do we want this to comply, to say? And then maybe there's other thoughts as far as health issues that, that you guys are thinking of too. So
that's something you're gonna try to put together?
I think we'll put it together. It may not be, at this point, we're getting late enough in the fire season that we're probably not gonna have an issue. But we should have them out or, have them sent out this winter so that the people are knowing. And it might have to go out a couple different times. If they have it twice or something, then basically just say, you gotta do something, or, there's gonna be a fine, or we're gonna go in and take care of it for whatever amount of money per hour or something.
Are we relying on that nuisance ordinance of the county?
With that, I don't know. It just seems like that.
That doesn't,
Yeah.
it doesn't cover the fire
Right,
hazard and stuff.
right. I don't know if they would include that in the nuisance order or not,
No.
the fire
The
hazard
health
stuff.
hazard would.
Yes,
not
the
the
health
fire.
hazard, yep. And with that, spaghetti feed, October 25th, 4:30 to 7:30. Public's welcome,
26, you said?
25th.
The letter should have very specific things.
Yes, that's why I'd like to just get all my guys to get
Sure.
their opinions. And your,
Yeah, and bring it to
But-
us and we.
right, that's why I'm saying this
Yeah.
winter, we'll get something that's got it dialed in pretty good, and then, so that they know, and there's not, 1,000 questions or anything. It's just, you guys gotta be fire safe. And that's it.
Before you run, so are we going to approve, for him to go ahead and take the truck, get the water pump fixed
In November?
in November?
Yeah, my understanding is that money's already been, we approved it to be done, so it's,
Yeah.
So we're,
So we need to vote on?
well, I think we voted on, I just want to be sure I have the price here somewhere. Rob,
Okay. Got our cash flow statement here. Expenses this month are really high. We've got a lot of projects going on right now, grant dollars flowing through the city. We thankfully had some good collections this month. Franchise tax came in, and then also some pot money came in as well, and free market revenue. Major checks, we've got a $33,000 check for our annual auto, property, and general liability insurance. 2 grant checks going out for Dakota Consulting and Hiko Engineers, one's $6,000 and one's $106,000. It's all offset by grant dollars that have come in already. My bill's in there, it's a little high. We got that audit turned around in the timeline, at the deadline. But yeah, we had to help the auditor a little bit. And we also, speaking of which, the last item on there is the $10,000 bill for the audit that was completed for 2021. We also have Tony's Tree Service in there, which is the street grant work, and RD Mac Gravel, which is the water grant work. And then if you look on the next page, it just shows what our current cash balances are in the various accounts. And again, it's a lot of this is just grant money coming in. So we've got to pay these bills that are going out. And there's a little timing difference, so at any given time, we might have a little more cash in there. The next thing is our appropriations review, and if anybody who picked up the one over there, it had an error on it. I subsequently fixed it, so I have extras. If you guys want it, council has the right one, I'll just set more of these over here. Okay, so this is our budget to actual, so you can see where we're actually at, which is actually a really good tool for when you have conversations like the outside guys need a new truck, for example. I don't know. Or if you want to get a water pump repaired on the fire truck. You can see that we budgeted $23,850 in the fire department. We've used $1,194 through the end of September. So you do have $22,000 remaining in there. And you know, you don't approve, this report is at the appropriations level, which is how you actually, that's where your legal spending authority is. So when you say, well, did we budget for a little truck to get repaired? Yes, ish, you went into that number, right? But where your legal authority stands is this right here. So anyway, just to clarify some of that stuff. Administration, just gonna run through it. Administration has 61% of budget remaining. Fire has 95% of budget remaining. Parks has 92. Flea market, I mentioned last time, we had the oiling of the road needed to be allocated between flea market and street, and it was all in street last time. We have subsequently moved it, and so the amount that's in there on flea market is accurate based on the amount of footage that was done in total. And then the road fund, we've got in personnel services, we've got 96% remaining. Materials and services, we have 69% remaining. And then debt service is just our normal monthly payment. We do one giant annual payment for the large loan. It's $44,000 every year, so that'll be low until February. We actually make that payment. Water fund, you can see in capital outlay, we've got the grant project moving there. That's the $231,000. That's the item that's different between the old report and the current report. And then sewer fund, personnel services is actually pretty high right now. We're just allocating a lot more time and effort to that, but we would expect that in the summertime. In the winter time, it'd be lower and you get more allocation to street fund. Any questions?
Rob, on this RD-MAC is 4,000.
Yeah.
Isn't that for the college?
That's my call.
So that will be correct.
That's my grant.
That's correct.
Whoever's water.
It's water fund. Okay, just wanted to be sure. Yeah.
Did I say grant? Sorry. Okay, thank you guys.
You guys have any questions for Rob? No. So do I have a motion?
Do you have a question?
So you said fire has 95% of their budget left.
Yep.
So
Do you want a copy? I don't think you have one.
that means we're doing pretty darn good for the,
Second line item under general.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
So do I have a motion to accept the bills and pay?
You make a motion to accept this month's bills and pay.
Also,
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We will pay the bills. Something on planning. I had on here, something about doing a keyless door lock. I have some information for it, but Rob's got a better, has one at his office, and I want to look at it and get the information on that before we move forward, because it's a little more cost effective than what we got. Yes, Rob?
You may also want to secure that window before you
Oh,
invest.
yes, in the window.
what does yours do?
It's just cheaper. It's the same thing, it's cheaper.
And it doesn't replace the handle, it replaces
Just the deadbolt.
the deadbolt.
Yeah.
So, but we can put codes in so we know who's going in and out and when. You know, it just kind of keeps us a little more.
I'm sure the one you guys have a quote for is heavy duty industrial and commercial, and that may be the direction you want to go. I just said.
So I'd like to look at his and get some information, then we can compare them. If you guys are okay with
It's
that?
kind of between what, 75 and 500?
Yeah,
So there's a difference.
a little different, see if we can find something in between. So,
We do need to get that window fixed though.
oh, Rob, did you want to say anything about the audit?
The audit's done. Jordan and I'll jump myself in here because we did help him get the information he needed in a timely manner. which is important to an audit. Anyway, that was done by the deadline for your grant,
Grant, water grant. Yeah.
CDBG grant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Water
for
grant.
the CDBG grant.
And thank you, Rob, for that.
And it was a clean opinion.
Yeah.
Everything looked good, as far as I know. I'm sure Jordan would love to come at some future date and present it.
Put on here update on current 2022 ODOT grant. I told Martin I would get a hold of ODOT. And I talked to Michelle on Thursday, who I talked to Ken also. And she said, I guess there was a little confusion. She says, yes, the grant can be changed, but there has to be a definite reason why. It can't just because we don't like this street or don't like that street. And also, if we were to take a street out of the grant or add a different one, they would have to come out and totally rescore it. Notice they come out and take pictures and rescore it. And she said, looking at that grant, we would probably just lose the grant totally, because they're looking for the worst roads we have in the city to give the grants to. So, that's what she told me. She said we were kind of at the bottom of the pack on the 2022 grant, and changing it would, cause it to go away.
And Ken Peterson.
She had talked to Ken Peterson.
Right.
She knew about your conversation with him, and so that's where it is. And I did look, I went back to minutes, and November 23rd of 2021 is when we all voted to go forward on that grant. So that's my update.
And it should be, if we can keep the rock coming, we should be done Thursday or Friday. Already Matt's been real slow getting this rock.
Okay. And then the next thing is Whistle Stop, and Rebecca said that John is unavailable for this, so we are going to table that until the next meeting. So, Charlie, do you have anything?
No, like I said, Tim and Jeff have been working really good with this road and trying to keep up with everything else they're doing. They went up and they unhooked all of our sewer irrigation line. So we're ready for winter there. They said that the sewer pond was looking good, so we should be set for winter. And like I said, we've had rental equipment problems, and they've been working with us on that too. Along with, like I said, the streets, they should be all on the straight stretch of Climax and First Street between Wednesday and Thursday. We should be done no later than Friday, if Artie Mack keeps bringing us rock. They really held up the project, because we should have been done in 4 days ago.
Michael?
What to do about that?
They try to explain that a little bit.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it needs to be council decision.
What's the address on this, do you know?
It's on
Columbia Street.
Columbia.
Yeah. Okay, so what was the whole situation on this, and have we talked to the property owner?
Apparently, he took it amongst himself to take out our alley. On the other side of the property line, probably, I'm gonna say probably at least 6 to 8 foot on the toe is what it looks like, because you can see, the property line. There's one there, and got by the propane tank.
Okay,
See it?
up here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, those are the marks.
Those are the marks.
Okay,
And you can see he's well on this side of it. I talked to Bill about it, and I haven't gotten a definite answer exactly how that goes. But apparently what he wanted to do is he's getting ready to build a shop back here. I don't know what size, he hasn't brought it to council. He didn't say, but apparently what he wanted to do is drive in. You can see Marcia's rig here. He wants to come down that lane where that hoe is sitting and access the back of his shop.
That would be off of Auburn. He'd come off of Auburn and then go to the back.
But the thing,
all the utilities are in
but
this area.
this grassy area right here, there's a fence, you can see it over here on the right-hand side
Mhm.
with railroad ties. There's a sewer line that runs all the way through here, and it goes all the way up behind Sam Rollins, all the way up into Grant. It comes all the way through, and with this being cut out like this, with this bank, I'm gonna say this bank's probably at least 7 feet that is cut out. You can't pass on it because it comes up to a wall.
So is this going to interfere with our?
No, it doesn't interfere with it, but right here where this bank is, right here behind the hole, because as you can see, this is still in the easement
Yeah,
of our alley, but the line is over here. The only thing that we would have to do is if we had to dig this line up for whatever reason, and you'd have to dig here and put the material in our road, which is our road. We haven't forfeited our road, and this road has not been, vacated. But this is what happens when somebody just,
Well, it also causes a problem because it's a good access point for fire too. They could get to the back of those buildings and you just lost that on 4 houses. And if he has a garage put up there, you can't get to the back, his garage burns. So you're gonna lose all that access through there.
has he even made any plans as far as the garage to submit it to the city?
no, not that I
Does he
know of.
realize he has to?
Well, he's just preparing the road for it. And what did he do with the dirt that he took out of the city dirt?
Yeah, because this pile, you can see that pile of dirt
Yeah.
that's sitting there, that's not near enough what came out of it, and I don't know what happened to it. Somebody told me that he already hauled 1 or 2 loads off, and I don't know where it went. But I told him when I went down there, Tim's the one that called me about this, and I went down and I talked to Bill, and I said, do not do anything with that dirt until after we decide what we want to do here.
Well, yeah, because we need to see we need to see his whole plan, to see if there's even,
Well, the
like
thing,
there'd be setback issues and stuff on this.
this is a pretty good sized street width-wise, and that's what I told him. I says, you should have been able to start back here with your pin, and you should have been able to take all of the other dirt that he had, because he had a bunch of dirt. I hauled it all off, not this, but out where he dug his house. And he should have made a ramp that goes to the back of his building, if that's what he wanted to do. Instead of carving out the city street to make his lot bigger.
Could have kind of come to the city.
Yeah, well, so do
Explain what he was
we
doing.
want to send him a letter, are we talking to him, how do you guys want to handle this?
Why don't you make him fix it?
Well, that's,
But that's
So
my
what-
consensus, because like I said, this side, the side towards Auburn is low anyways, and it used to come down and go up. To where now it all goes, it's where her rig's sitting, it goes downhill, goes in where the hose at, flattens off across the bottom, and then you hit a wall. So the thing is I don't wanna go in and cut this alley back, because you could do that and cut the alley back to where you could drive all the way through it, and then everybody would be happy with that. But my problem is there's only a sewer line here. We don't have no issues with this sewer line, and I don't wanna disturb any ground around it, because this is all duck, this ain't rocky ground. You start messing around with it, and then we'll end up having a sewer problem.
so do we need to draft a letter to send him?
I would. So he has it in writing.
We'll have to sit down.
To put it back to original?
That's what I would do.
And he needs to bring his plans. You see,
And the thing is though, it depends on how far you wanna stretch this. Do you wanna make it to where he has to hire a city contractor to come out and do it? City street,
oh, yeah,
or you just gonna let him put the dirt back in?
I want it done right. Is he qualified to do it right?
Well, I don't know about him, but Jerry's the one doing it. That's Jerry.
Well, it's the city street. It should be done by a city contractor and he has to pay the bill.
I'll put that in the letter too. And the only one that I know that can do it would be, Steve Rich, is the one that's on the list, because he's got the compactors, the hoe, and the equipment to do so. Because I'm gonna say that there's gonna have to be some fill on it, because there's not near enough there.
When you do that runoff there, when the snow starts melting, because it's not gonna be hard pack anymore, it's just gonna be, are they gonna compact it?
Well, that's, Steve Rich would do that. It'd have to be watered down, and compacted and put back in. And it will also be up to Steve Rich to determine on whether he wants to use this material or if he wants to bring in like tailings. And make rock tailings out of it, because it needs to hold the vehicle. If we're gonna put it back in.
Yeah, why don't we
But
send
you
him
never
the
could-
letter?
We never could drive through this with a vehicle. Because I've hauled up here to Collins on the backside, because we have to back down by Sammy's off the granite and come in the other way, because this was never passable.
Yeah,
So
but those nowhere.
we need to send a letter and stop him from doing anything.
And then maybe have Steve.
Well, I told him when I saw him, I said, don't do anything till you hear back from us. I said, we have a council meeting on Tuesday. Me and you was in agreement to it.
For those yellow things, survey markers.
Yeah, the ones that are.
Those are his
Yeah.
pins, there's one there behind that, just to the left of the propane tank. And then there's that pin right there, that's a T-post with a pin by it.
Yeah, they're marked.
Yeah. And you can see he's well
And that's,
in our street.
yeah, it's 20 foot easy.
Mhm.
So we'll need to draft a letter and tell him to
Fix it.
fix it and bring the plans in.
The plans for, hopefully shop.
Well, I think that's probably gonna be down the road, still not his house.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt.
Well,
All alleys within the city limits of Sumter are fire lanes, whether they're developed or not. It falls on the fire chief to, work with you to be sure that they do not block those fire lanes, whether there's a tree in the middle of the, thing or not. It's in the ordinance and that's for fire protection. So it falls with the fire chief and you guys to enforce that. And, you know, just because somebody does something, it doesn't mean that you gotta go, well, okay, now you're compliant, so we're gonna let you do it. They should have done that before they did it.
that's what we said, yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, you open the door for a whole bunch of problems.
I don't think anybody up here is saying you should
No,
really get away with it.
Right.
Yeah, no, I
Well, no,
don't.
we just need to do, we need to come up with a letter up there. Maybe we all need to look at it, make sure it's correct.
Don't you run by and look at it sometime, Kurt?
Oh, I know what it is. He gave me the pile of dirt.
Oh.
We're sure that's what
I was hauling it off tonight.
Can we got the dirt back, please? No, okay, well,
But that alley hasn't been, I mean, I can go through it because I got a dozer.
yeah,
My fire trucks have never been able to go through that alley.
yeah, it's never
For
been passable.
for the life of Sumter, that alley hasn't been fire accessible.
but it's still an existing alleyway, so we
Yep.
need to,
Maybe we need to make it fire accessible while we're doing it.
okay, so,
You got lots of them.
Yeah, there's a few.
okay, so we need to.
Like I say, if I need through it, then I'll take a bulldozer through it.
That's the point of it,
Okay,
is if you need it.
so we'll get something to him and make sure Charlie knows that he doesn't have to do anything until we review all this. Marcia, did you have anything else?
No.
Martin,
Nope.
public comment? Yeah, stand up, say your name, please.
I'll shut down tomorrow. I'm Catherine Dodgens, and, what else did you want from me? Is your name?
Yeah.
Oh. I have some concerns about, we have 3 model cabins that are designated not to be occupied within the city limits of Sumter. People are living in them. One of them killed 2 people. And it had bathrooms put in. It's been all kinds of stuff. That doesn't change the fact that they are not to be occupied. 2 of them are mirror image. The one that killed the 2 people had a bathroom put in it. I can tell you, as the EMT that was there, EMS that was there, they squeezed through a little teeny bathroom hole that wasn't supposed to be there. There was 1.5 feet of skin in that illegal cabin that they had just bought, I think 2 weeks before. They were not told that it was an illegal cabin or an illegal occupied cabins. So they thought they were buying, a place that they can stay in and so on and so forth. It was a multi-million-dollar lawsuit and, cost two very nice people their lives. And so you guys need to know that you have these cabins occupied. And the responsibility falls upon you because it's been long established that they were never to be occupied. But what happens is you get somebody who, they'll sell it and they won't bother to tell the new buyer that it can't be occupied. And so you get somebody like these people who buy it, come in, stay overnight, and get blown up. You know?
Where are these that you're referring to?
There's one, next to, it's between the property of the Scuba steamer and, it's the old rental office. It's a model cabin that's sitting sideways. It mirrors, it's the exact same one as the, on the dredge tailings on, the subdivision. I'm not sure if it's your subdivision or.
Yeah, it's not mine, but.
Yeah.
High Street and Magnolia.
Those are not to be occupied. The other one is the Lincoln Log Home, model cabin here. And that was, prior to them. It is by agreement. The other two are mirror images. They were never to be occupied. They were not ever to be anything more than a model cabin. And they've slipped through the cracks. And not to mention, we've got RVs in the CR zone that are living in them, which is a ordinance violation.
We're aware of that. We're working on that.
Okay. You know, we have, overnight motel renting out as apartments. That's not a legal use within our zone. It's also, if I'm not wrong, they don't qualify as a home to be rented. You know, and these are concerns that I've noticed, I'm sure you guys have noticed, you know, and it's on you as a city council to follow these ordinances.
Well, Catherine, you haven't been here.
I know, I'm
We have-
sorry.
We
Well,
have,
I've been
we have
watching.
a committee that's working on the zoning to bring things into compliance.
That was
So
my next
we
question.
do have.
Who is your zoning committee?
We have a zoning committee that's made up of citizens and 2 counselors.
And who's on?
Marcia, Martin, Rebecca, and Al Jones.
So are they business owners? I'm not.
No,
you know.
they're just counselors and citizens who, one is a business owner, yes. So, but they're working on all these issues.
Ron,
Have been.
you're talking current, I'm talking past.
Okay, we're talking current, they're working on these issues that you're talking about.
Okay.
The RVs and all this.
Right, because there are ordinances
Right,
that haven't been,
they reviewed all the ordinances and they're working on it.
because that's what concerns me.
Yeah,
You know, these people were not killed, they didn't die instantly, they suffered horribly.
well,
And
we have an active group working every week, going over zones and ordinances to get things in compliance.
Okay.
Okay.
my concern, with the business, not you personally, Rebecca, is anyone who can benefit from changing this ordinances, they need to state that.
Well, the group we have is they're doing it very independent of what personal interests they have.
Yeah.
We're-
I mean, I was on planning for 2
Yeah.
years, I know,
So
when,
they're doing a good job and they will eventually bring stuff to council and we will go from there.
so they are public meetings and they've been posted as such.
Yes, they have. For 2 months.
2, 3 months, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're posted.
Which is great.
Yeah.
When I was on planning, we all had books, but none of them matched.
Yeah, well, it's not technically
This
planning.
isn't planning, this
This is
is
not
a
planning.
zoning committee group, it's a special group that we put together.
We're just going through the ordinances, the zoning, all of the ordinances for the planning. The R zones and the RLs and the CR zones
In violations.
the violations of what the future of the city would like to see in them.
Well, I have concerns, which I've reported a million times. In the RL zone, we have illegal businesses. We have a bed and breakfast now, I noticed. We have cabin rental. There is no commercial use in the RL zone. the one's been working for years. Matter of fact, the, one is now managing the other. They have a apartment, or not apartment, they have a cabin rental that they rent. Don't have a business license for it, never have that I know of. But see, that's the problem. Those are now commercial residences that were never approved.
Well, we're working on getting things updated.
They're having that same problem in every city,
Every
that
city.
people have temporary homes and they rent them out when they're not there.
Baker,
And they're allowing them in all the zones.
right, and well, see, Sumter has protected if you follow the ordinance. It says no commercial use. I'll use an example from the past. The man who used to own the gas station, when it looked like a gas station, that tells you how long ago it was. He sold the gas station. He moved up to the, second house on Climax and Granite. And he decided he was going to open a repair car and make money out of it. And he advertised it. And that's illegal in the zone, in the residential limited zone. That's our only residential zone we have in town. And they are not to compete. Our business is struggling up already. And
Yeah.
so to have somebody compete.
Catherine, there's a limit about how long your comment can be.
Oh, I know.
If you want to digress, I suggest you get on the agenda. And then you talk.
I actually was gonna do that, I'm sorry.
But no, we're aware of a lot of this stuff, and they're working on it. And yes, we changed the meetings to where the public comment is 3 minutes.
That would be great, that was my question,
Okay.
especially with the
But
concerns.
thank you for bringing your concerns.
Sorry, I forgot about the 3 minute
Okay.
limit.
And a lot of we are not police. I mean, we don't drive around and look
That's
for
why
all
you
of
have
these.
ordinances.
So, well, yeah, we have ordinances, but a lot of this we're not aware of unless somebody comes and brings it to the council attention.
But
We don't-
I think this is the 8th time I've brought the one up by my house, that's a flat out cabin rental. We've had the police there, we've had a man who was hiding from the police, and he was 10 feet from the 15-year-old who had no idea that he was there. They have brought elements in there, they have RVs that they can't camp there. We have a new dog a week that chases the neighbor's cat. I mean, it's just gotten,
Okay, it's a slow process, but we're
I-
working on things,
I
so
believe
thank you for bringing it to our attention. Rebecca?
I would just like to address Catherine's comment with, I think her main point was the council shouldn't wait for future work in order to enforce its ordinances. And what our committee is doing is this council has proposed to sending the planning down to Baker County. So we have updated the maps. The city hall was supposed to have the maps current with, as they pass resolutions and ordinances, and they had not done that and missed ordinances that updated zones. So we worked very hard to get that done. We're going through the ordinances article by article, finding changes, and we're not drastically changing everything, but we're trying to comprehensively look at what the people of Sumter, how they're using the town now, how it could be used in the future, and how to make everybody and the council happier and less of a fight between citizens and council than getting that enforced.
Thank you, Rebecca.
there is a state mandate that flat out says you have to do public, you have to notify the public, you have to notify the people in that zone before those ordinances can be changed.
We're
And
not changing, they're making
No, no,
recommendations.
I'm not
right
saying do change them, I'm saying somewhere in the last 15 years, I think some of the ordinances might have gotten changed. And those are not legal.
now. Well,
They
we're
need
not
to be
looking
addressed.
back, we're looking forward to get our stuff going forward, not going back to what's been done in the past, so. Anybody else? I make the motion to adjourn this meeting. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Oh, I know. Well, he was just.
I just brought the machine out.